Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Betweenlands. Wait, what? I see. In case you're wondering, yes, I am alive. I have had the misfortune of graduating with a bachelor's degree. I'm not too satisfied with how the Betweenlands playthrough is turning out to be for me. I need structure, directions, and whatever this video ends up being is not going to cut it. I'm probably going to revert back to proper commentary after this one, and keep my editing for challenge videos on this mod and other games. Speaking of which, I was tired of having to force myself to make Betweenlands videos when I wanted to play other things, so I'm probably going to do that. I have shed my Minecraft shackles. Expect more stuff on this channel. Now, about the 4th episode in itself. I got too ambitious with it for what was supposed to be my simple gig, and got demotivated when it didn't turn out in my favor. But as you can see, it exists. I didn't die. I am your host, TheSilverplier, Lord of Maggots, and I have the pleasure to come back from hibernation to deliver the 4th chapter of our experiment in the most dangerous place known in Louisiana. Previously, we fixed our PETA-regulated contraption of death, which allowed us to bypass the mines, only to return to them anyway. We experimented on infusions, destroyed my stomach, and almost met our fate in the caverns. But today is a new day, a new opportunity for me to be murdered, and a time for us to acquire real estate. As it may seem obvious, I live in a decaying shed. My house is a fucking sideways rotten tree trunk with termites in it, so it's with a heavy heart that I decide we have to build a proper residence. And you're going to indulge my bullshit as I detail the construction in excruciating details. I'm not asking for your opinion. Additionally, we still have a tremendous animator problem, namely the oil and infant child vitae stocks. One of our current problems is easier to solve than the other, but fortunately for you and for my external hard drive, I have prepared for this day. I know exactly what resources I need to build so as to not waste time. I think the first step ahead of us is to engage in a little deforestation to gather metric tons of wood. I also happen to have accidentally redefined the contours of the cavern under my future house with the swift pick we got last time. And finally, committed aggravated harassment on the local crab population. Oh, what's that? A white spawner? Why, that's perfect for my... The actual building of the house is rather simple. It's such a shame that editing out the footage sucks my soul out of my body. I wanted to go big this time, because I'm usually pretty terrible at building. Remember what the tree house from season 1 looked like? Me neither. We are planning ahead this time. I want this house to last for the entire season, if there is even a season after this episode. But more so, I wanted to have enough space for everything and then some. Building our house begins with building the foundations. That includes digging a hole for my basement. We get to digging, and I am soon faced with the real-world problem of the weather. I decided to build the foundations with pet stone, because I think it has a nice flair to it. Except that's not what I did. I used weedwood logs for the frame and stone for the walls. The problem is that I am replicating a build that I made in another world. As you can guess, the translation process has some complications. I also used nibble twig planks for the floors. The center of the house is a not so good looking but definitely better than my usual staircase that leads to the gigantic attic that will be closed off by trapdoors in the future. I want that shit to be my small sized house airport should we ever get the fabled Dryton. Now for the part I dread the most, where I build the roof. I am terrible with roofs, but I think I managed to create a presentable frame for mine. It's made of weedwood. The actual roof that's going to sit on it though, it is made of the finest mud brick shingles Home Depot has ever seen. One small issue, however, I didn't record up to that part. We're in January 2024 as I write this thing, which means I have to go back to playing the game. Alright, it looks like my word hasn't been corrupted after all. Let me just check on the loves of my life first. Yep, I've had it off. So, the roof. I don't have much to say about it. It's a matter of placing the shingles and not falling to my death. Well, it looks like I don't have enough. It's a real pleasure to go to the mud harvest and disfigure the earth. It's my favorite activity. Alright, now that should be enough. It's still not enough. You know, I really missed how peaceful this game could be, aside from the screaming demon. I love getting assaulted by white people, it's the best. As you can see, we need industrial quantities of mud bricks. What's funny is that I didn't get enough to even finish the damn porch. What else do I need? Ah, yes, window extrudes, my favorite waste of resources. I only have silk glass paint for the windows and I can't be bothered to make crap pots, so I guess we're looking for dirty windows for now. Not going to lie, this house is coming together nicely. I made every mistake imaginable compared to my model, but that's fine. We still have to move my stuff inside. But before doing so, we need the fable-stable source of sulfur and white hearts. I'm going to be honest with you, the sulfur one is not the most dynamic and fun to watch process. But the gist of it is that I need to set up a crap pot farm, just so it makes my earlier comment stupider. The first struggle I am facing is that I want the crab shack to be pretty, so I naturally disfigured the landscape a little bit more, and I also have to clean up an infested bark. But at last, we have a somewhat presentable looking shack, emphasis on the somewhat, but we have yet another problem. We need anadia remains to attract the crabs in the pots. I have a slight issue with fishing in that I don't know how to craft a rod. Well, I know how it's crafted, but the recipe has changed with the latest update and I am nowhere near familiar enough with silk farming to craft it. Therefore, enjoy my fish hunting session where I commit crimes against the crocodile population, misuse the fish bait, and realize in real time how ass the base fishing spear is. After about half an hour of fishing, I managed to gather enough meat to craft 3 remains. I'm not too keen on recording 20 more hours of water waddling, so I'm gonna have to sit with my farm only having 3 crabs, when I eventually find a silt variant. Oh well, it seems I need another farm to actually get quantities of sulfur, which itself requires cremains. I don't have a sludgeon located yet, so stay tuned for next year when I finish this farm. Now, we still have the white farm I alluded to earlier. This is probably the most dangerous idea I have entertained yet, with many more ghost people than I am comfortable with. But we have to, because my armor isn't going to last forever, and I am out of hearts. The way this farm is meant to work is to transport the whites by waterway to a different location where I can safely kill them in a couple of hits. There are plenty of issues with my setup, in that I am too scared to make a clean build. I am using literal trash material to get my way, and get my way I will, as long as I don't, get too close to dying every 20 seconds. Sneaking is a godsend in those trying times. Unfortunately for me, I forgot to build a good system to suffocate the mobs before they get to the execution chamber. You can tell this is a problem because they have way too much health. Furthermore, whites will not spawn if there are no blocks available under and around the spawner, meaning I have to use trapdoors to let them appear. Problem: I need them to fall in the water, and I don't have the means to do so. But there is something that can. Sadly, I cannot reveal the secret to you because the Blood Sky decided to launch an attack on my construction site. There are crypt crawlers outside my house. At least I have plenty of ancient nuggets now. I'm not going to lie, this is becoming too dangerous for my well-being, so how about we change our plans for this episode? Stay tuned for a less dangerous adventure next time where I raid the Slungeon and Spirit Tree? You know what, I'll let you be the judge about the format we will be going with onwards. There should be a community post on the channel that lets you choose which one you would prefer me to make, as well as free space for your suggestions if you'd like something else in the formula. I don't have a particular problem with doing the current one, but it takes time. Not an entire year on paper, mind you, but it takes time. And I'd like to know if it's worth it for you, or if you would rather have real-time comments about the danger I am in at all times. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you for waiting an entire year for seemingly no reason. I'm sorry it took so long to come back, and I will probably see you in the next one, in these lands or others.